I've always been fascinated by abandoned places. The peeling paint, creaking floorboards, and lingering scent of decay felt like whispers from the past, telling stories of lives long gone. There was something thrilling about stepping into the unknown, imagining the people who once called these places home. It was like time travel, but darker, a connection to something forgotten and mysterious. One day, I heard about an old house deep in the woods, far from any beaten path. Locals called it the Hollow Manor, a place avoided even by the bravest hikers. Rumors swirled about strange sightings, ghostly apparitions, and unexplained disappearances. Naturally, I couldn't resist. Armed with my flashlight, camera, and a backpack of essentials, I set out to uncover the truth. The hike to the house took longer than I expected. The forest was dense, and the further I ventured, the quieter it became. Birds stopped singing, and even the wind seemed to hold its breath. When I finally spotted the house through the trees, a shiver ran down my spine. The Hollow Manor stood tall but crumbling, its roof sagging and windows shattered like hollow eyes staring into the void. I pushed open the front door, which groaned in protest. Inside, dust particles danced in the weak sunlight that filtered through the broken windows. The air was thick with mildew and something else, something metallic, like rust or old blood. The walls were covered in faded wallpaper, peeling away to reveal cracked plaster beneath. I began exploring, snapping photos of the decaying furniture, the broken staircase, and the forgotten relics of the past. As I ventured deeper into the house, a sense of unease settled over me. It was subtle at first, a creak here, a whisper of movement there. But then I started noticing things that didn't make sense. A chair that had been upright when I entered was now tipped over. My flashlight flickered, casting strange shadows on the walls. I told myself it was just my imagination, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. I decided to head upstairs. The staircase groaned under my weight, each step echoing through the empty halls. On the second floor, I found a long corridor lined with doors. Most were ajar, revealing empty rooms filled with debris. But one door at the end of the hall was closed. I felt an inexplicable pull towards it, as if something, or someone, was waiting on the other side. I approached the door, my heart pounding in my chest. As I reached for the handle, a cold breeze swept through the corridor, and I heard it, a faint whisper, just beyond the door. It was too soft to make out, but it sent chills down my spine. I hesitated for a moment, then steeled myself and pushed the door open. The room was empty, save for an old, cracked mirror leaning against the far wall. I stepped inside, my flashlight's beam reflecting off the glass, but what I saw in the mirror wasn't my reflection. Instead, I saw dark, translucent figures, shadowy shapes of people standing behind me. I spun around, but the room was empty. When I looked back at the mirror, the figures were closer, their features becoming clearer. Hollow eyes, twisted expressions, and mouths open in silent screams. Panic surged through me. I backed out of the room, slamming the door shut. But the whispers didn't stop. They grew louder, filling the corridor with a cacophony of voices. I ran, my footsteps echoing off the walls as the house seemed to close in around me. The staircase that had felt solid on my way up now groaned and shifted, as if trying to trap me inside. When I reached the front door, it was no longer open. It had slammed shut, and no matter how hard I pulled, it wouldn't budge. The whispers were deafening now, and I could feel cold fingers brushing against my skin. Desperation took over. I remembered the broken window I'd seen earlier and sprinted towards it. Without thinking, I hurled myself through the shattered glass, feeling the sharp edges scrape against my arms and legs. I hit the ground hard, but didn't stop. I scrambled to my feet and ran into the forest, not daring to look back. The whispers faded with each step, but I could still feel their presence, like shadows clinging to my soul. It wasn't until I saw the faint light of the trailhead that I finally allowed myself to slow down. I never returned to the Hollow Manor. The photos I took that day were blurry, distorted by strange streaks of light and shadow. But I didn't need proof. The memories were burned into my mind. Sometimes late at night, I hear those whispers again, reminding me that some places are abandoned for a reason, and some doors should never be opened.